Today let me take you to another topic, that is uh, uh, writing notices and minutes. Let me take you to that part. Uh, Okay, so let's start our discussion. Today we are going to deal with writing notices and minutes with agenda. If you talk about the exam, it carries 5 marks, and always you will be asked to write a notice to call for the meeting or any other programs, or you will be asked to write minutes with certain agenda. So let me start with introductory part, then we will move to the practical things. First, a notice in your syllabus, just notices for meetings is given with agenda, and minutes is also given. But this notice is not only written to call for the meeting, you know that. Notice is not only written to call for the meeting. You, for example, your college writes notice to inform you about your vacation, about your educational excursion, about your project work, about your internal exam, I told, about your result, about sports week, right? Even the college writes notice to inform students about minor as well as major events. No problem with that. And notices are not always written to call for the meeting, right? But here in your syllabus, notices for minutes, meetings is given, no problem. But most important thing is, if you are well familiar with the things that must be included when you write notice, then you can write notice to call for the meeting, or to just inform somebody about different incidents, different event, different programs, or whatever. So I have repeatedly used the words meeting here, because our focus will be on writing notices to call somebody for the meeting, right? Otherwise you write notice for different purpose, to inform about different events, different programs, all these things. Okay. So in order to call a meeting or to inform certain people about any particular event or program, a notice is circulated to all individual members of the organization. So basically this notice is related to, the term is related to certain people of the organization. Yes, most of the time notice is used in the organization, and it is circulated outside the organization too. A formal notice contains the following elements. Okay, so it doesn't matter why you are writing a notice, but your notice must include these elements. First, the name and address of the organization, committee, or club. First thing is, your notice must include the name and address of the organization, committee, club. Yeah, if you are getting your notice printed out in letter pad, then you will not have problem, right? The part will be there. Otherwise, you write name, address of the organization, whether that is committee, organization, company, or club. Right. So then after that, write down the date on which it is issued. Means write down the date on which the notice is issued. That date must be there. After that, you move to the body part of your notice, which must include the date, day, and time of the meeting. These things must be clearly mentioned, because if your notice lacks date, what happens? I talked about that. The venue of the meeting must be included there, and the agenda to be discussed. Agenda to be discussed also should be included, but it is optional. It is optional. Agenda to be discussed means topics for discussion in the meeting, right? What are the topics of your discussion in the meeting? These are called agenda. You don't call for the meeting without any purpose. You call for the meeting to discuss on certain issues, to discuss or to make decision on certain topics. So you just call for the meeting. And in notices, most of the time, agenda also included, but it's optional. Why it's optional? Yes, when you want to discuss on some private affairs, private issues, you will not clearly mention the agenda in your notice, right? If you are going to discuss on some private issues. Otherwise, including agenda in your notice helps the members to prepare on different topics so that they will present their views, present their ideas, speak out there, right? So these are the things. One thing that you should know is, that notice is written before the meeting. Minutes is written after the meeting. Notice is written before the meeting. It is to call for the meeting. It is written to call for the meeting. I already told you that I will be, basing my presentation on the meeting all the time, though notices are not written to call for the meeting just, right? But minutes are written after the meeting. Means minutes includes the discussions and decisions made, whereas notice includes the topic of discussion. Minutes includes discussions and conclusions made, right? So let's start with some practical examples. Here the question, this was a board exam question. Inventing necessary details. Look, inventing necessary, some of the students find it complex because you have to invent, you have to think here all the things: time of the meeting, date of the meeting, venue of the meeting, agenda to be discussed, all the things you should think. So inventing necessary details, write a notice with 4 points agenda, for the upcoming third meeting of your organization. Or here can be organization, sometimes here can be any social club, right? That can be anything. So here, if here is any social club, then you should think of the name of the club as well. Yeah, you can write any name, no problem with that. For example, Thapathali Youth Club you can write, or something Red Cross Society you can write, no problem with that. But you should name you should think all the things here. So inventing necessary detail may be challenging for some of the students, but other things very easy. When you are writing original notice, at that time you will have everything there, you just will be listing out. Okay. Inventing necessary details, write a notice with 4 points agenda for the upcoming third meeting of your organization. So how you write it? Look, first, the name, address of the organization with phone number. I told you, write in this way. Don't write the way you like. Follow certain format, because we talked about layout. Thapathali Engineering College, I just wrote it, inventing necessary details. You should not heavily depend on this one. Thapathali Engineering College, Thapathali, Kathmandu. Phone number, this one. Then date. Date must be written 15th September 2020. Okay. Now you move to the body of the notice. What is the question here? Upcoming third meeting of your organization. Third meeting. Notice. Here write down notice. Then it is to inform all the faculty members of the college. Yeah, you can start the notice the way you like. It is notified that, it is hereby notified that, it is to inform that. Or you can directly start with Thapathali Engineering College is going to organize its regular meeting on this one. You can start that way too. Don't depend always on this style, right? But I have started in this way. It is to inform all the faculty members of the college to attend the third regular meeting to be held on September 10. Date of the meeting, September 10 at 10 a.m. sharp at the Hotel Annapurna, Darbar Marg, to discuss and decide on the following agenda. Right. So in its own premises, you can detail, you can have your own detail, no problem. Then to discuss and decide on the following agenda. Most important thing, you can start notice any way you like, no problem. But these things should be here. Look, date of the meeting, time of the meeting, venue of the meeting. But you can start notice any way you like. For example, Thapathali Engineering College is going to organize its a third regular meeting on September 10 at 10 a.m. sharp in its premises to discuss and decide on the following agenda. No need to always start with it is to inform all the faculty now. Okay. Now to discuss and decide on the following agenda, you should invent agenda here, right? It can be challenging for some of the students. So inventing agenda means the topics of discussion. So first topic of discussion will be, because as it is a third meeting, if it is a first meeting, then you will not have minutes of the previous meeting. As it is your third meeting, so first thing what you will be doing there is you will be just going through the minutes from the previous meeting, and just you will take response from the members whether they agree on all the minutes or not, all the decisions made in the previous meeting or not. This is what we do as it is the third meeting. If it is the first meeting, there will not be this agenda. Okay, then I have invented some agenda here. Online classes or effectiveness of online classes, your agenda of discussion. Then purchase of computers and CCTVs, your agenda of discussion. Appointment of teachers, I just invented these things. Internal exam, don't write in a complete sentence, write down in phrases. Schedule of the next meeting. Yes, you can here write 50 agenda, no problem. Right? You can write your own agenda, you can create your own agenda. Right? No need to depend on these agenda, right? You can have 50 agenda for the meeting. You can talk about educational excursion of the students, or tour, or you can talk about like some building construction, right? You can talk about some admission process, admission of for the new academic session. Then you can have other things too, or you can just go for sanitation program, right? These things will be also agenda, right? Now these are agenda, especially discussion on online classes, purchase of the computers and CCTVs, appointment of the teachers, and internal exam. These four are your core agenda. These will be everywhere, fine. So then what you do is at the end, always notice is circulated by the secretary, your signature, then XYZ Adhikari, secretary, right? In this way you write notice. In this way you write notice. Now let me take you to writing minutes. How you write minutes? Okay. So I already told you that minutes includes the decisions made, and it is written after the meeting. It is written after the meeting. So it will be written in the past tense, using past tense. It's especially notice using present or future. Right. So how to write notice? Sorry, minutes. Minutes includes decisions made on the agenda that were in the notice. You know that. So when you write minutes, if you write minutes just after the notice, no need to write name of the name and address of the organization. But if you write minute after, in some different pages, then go for this. In the exam also write this. Name and address of the organization, committee, club, same thing. Time, date and place of meeting, that is in the notice too. Yes. So when you organize meeting, there will be chairman. So include that. So next thing is list of the people attending the meeting, list of the absentees or absent members of the group. You write record of this, right? You keep record of this. Then for each item in agenda, a record of the principal points discussed and decisions taken. After list of absent members, if there are absent members, you will have list, otherwise not. After that, at the end of your minute, what you write is discussions made on different agenda. Then at the end, time, date, and place of the next meeting. Yes, these things should be there when you write minutes. Name and address of the organization, time, date of the meeting, chairmanship of the meeting, list of the people attending the meeting, list of the absent members of the group. For each item in agenda, discussions and decisions made, then time, date, and place of the next meeting. Let me take you through the sample. You will be clear about these things. No problem. Okay. So question, look, suppose, this is also board exam question. Suppose you are the secretary of any organization and the third meeting of your organization, I already told you here will be committee, organization or whatever, you should think of the name. Suppose you are the secretary of any organization and the third meeting of your organization has been held recently. Write minutes of the meeting inventing at least 4 most relevant agenda. Right. Write minutes of the meeting inventing at least 4 most relevant agenda. So here I forgot to tell you 3.01 means third meeting, first agenda. 3.02 means third meeting, second agenda. In this way you should write agenda when you list out them. Okay. So now we are writing minutes on the basis of that notice. In the exam, don't write, when you are asked to write minutes, don't write notice, right? You directly go to minutes. But if you have to write minute of that notice, how would you be writing? Let me take you to that part. So first, same thing, name, address and phone number of the organization or of the club. For example, here can be Thapathali Youth Club, Thapathali Kathmandu, phone number, minutes. Now, the third regular meeting of the faculty members of Thapathali Engineering College was held on September 10 at 10 a.m. sharp at the Hotel Annapurna, Darwar Marg, under the chairmanship of Dr. XYZ Shrestha. If the person possesses any position, you have Dean of IOE. In this way you can go for that. Here comma Dean of IOE, full stop. Okay, the meeting discussed and decided on the following agenda. The third regular meeting of the faculty members of Thapathali Engineering College was held on September 10 at 10 a.m. sharp at the Hotel Annapurna, Darwar Marg, under the chairmanship of Dr. XYZ Shrestha. The meeting discussed and decided on the following agenda. Right. So here you can make slide change. Members of the Thapathali Engineering College was held on September 10 from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at, in this way also you can go, right? Okay. then that will be better. Then present members. You write the name of present members. You should invent all these things, right? So this is, you should think. Name. Now, one thing you should not forget is many of the students, what they do is they write under the chairmanship of here name, but in present members, they forget to include this name. You should not do that. You should be careful about it, right? Name of the chairman should be here in the list of present members. This should be taken into consideration. Other things you can think of the names and write down. XYZ Shrestha, chief, then you give position, post, then signature also you do yourself in the exam. Okay. Then after absent members, absentees, you go to absentees. If there are absentees, write down, otherwise no need. But in the exam, write down absentees. That means you know what to write in notice, minutes. Absentees, name, post. Okay, this is just, I invented the names. Then most important part in a minute is the decisions made. This is the backbone of your minutes. This is the backbone of your minutes. So when you write the decisions made, how you will be writing is first agenda, write down first agenda, then discussion made. Write down second agenda, discussion made. Third agenda, under that decision made. Fourth agenda, decision made. And fifth agenda, decision made. Sixth agenda, decision made. Okay. For example, how I have written. Third point, 3.1, first agenda, confirmation on the minutes of previous meeting. Right? You can make agenda sensible when you write minutes. There is slight change in agenda as well in comparison to notice. So confirmation on the minutes of previous meeting. This is agenda. What is the decision made? The minutes of the second regular meeting was approved without any much discussion. This is the decision made. But it is not necessary that you will be writing all the time the minutes of the second regular meeting was approved without any much discussion. No need. You can write that, yeah, all the members went through the minutes from the previous meeting, and some of them had disagreement with second agenda or decision made under the second agenda, and later on the meeting solved all people's disagreements. In this way also you can write. Then 3.2. 3.1, the minutes of the second regular meeting was approved without any much discussion. You can write there were some agreements with some agenda from the previous meeting, but later on the disagreements were solved. You can write in that way. Or the committee decided to think over some minutes from the previous meeting. In this way also you can include, but write down decision made. 3.2, effectiveness of the online classes. Effectiveness of the online classes. Online classes only was there in notice. You can write effectiveness of the online classes. All the faculty members put their views regarding online classes. Constructive suggestions from the faculty members were collected to make online classes more effective. This was the decision made, or discussion and decision made. Yeah, what happened under this agenda? All the faculty members presented their views, put their views regarding online classes, and they also just gave some constructive suggestions to make online classes more effective. Then next agenda is purchase of the computers and CCTVs. For purchase of the computers and CCTVs. Right. So you can write any way you like. The faculty members decided to purchase some computers and CCTVs as the college do not have enough computers and the CCTVs installed in some areas do not work. I just invented the necessary detail and I just invented the decision. In place of that, you can write to. As the students, a number of students is increasing every year at the college, the meeting decided to buy enough computer for the students, and it also decided to replace old computers with new ones so that students can do their work effectively and efficiently. You can write that too, right? So purchase of computers and CCTVs. Then next agenda, appointment of teachers. You should think of agenda and make decision in your own way. Think about the decisions too. For example, here is appointment of teachers. I just thought it. At some teacher as some teachers are out of the valley and unable to take regular online classes due to some unavoidable circumstances, the meeting decided to hire some teachers on a contract basis to take respective classes. Yes, appointment of teachers. You can just write that as some of our teachers got retired last month, the college decided to appoint some of the teachers uh, to take respective classes, right? Okay. Or you can write in this way: as some teachers are out of the valley and unable to take regular online classes due to some unavoidable circumstances, the meeting decided to hire some teachers on a contract basis to take respective classes. Then after that, you will have another agenda. Here is the repetition of some, you can delete one. Okay, now 3.05, conducting internal exam. You will be writing decision on the basis of that. The meeting scheduled the date. Yes, the meeting scheduled the date for internal examination from 20th to 18th September. It also decided that the exam will be conducted through online. This is decision made. Now, last agenda, as this is everywhere, schedule of the next meeting. The date for the next meeting was scheduled to be held on 9th October, right? What you write here, the date for the next meeting. Then, as there was no need for further discussion on the topics, the meeting ended with vote of thanks. Secretary, chairperson. Secretary, chairperson. Okay, so you write in this way. So when you write minutes, what you should do is you just think of agenda and then decisions made. It is writing minutes is bit complex thing, right? Complex thing means you should think a lot, nothing more than that. So you should think a lot here. So writing notices and writing minutes. These are two important topics of our today's discussion. Okay, now do you have any queries regarding writing notices and writing minutes? You go for the queries. We will be discussing on them. Writing
No, sir.
writing minutes.
Sir,
Yes,
so in the notice you said that the agenda should be optional. Why is it?
yes. Agenda optional. I talked about that, right? So why I wrote or why I have written optional here? Yes, you can see here. Optional is when you are going to discuss on some private issues, right? At that moment, you don't write, you know, agenda because you are going to some private issues, right? Even sometimes what happens is that if you just want to notify students about internal examination, for example, if your college writes a notice and it wants to inform students about their internal exam, there will not be agenda. What will be writing? Thapathali Engineering College is going to conduct its internal examination from this one. So all the students are requested to make preparation accordingly. Then there will not be agenda, right? So what I told you is sometimes if meeting wants to discuss on some private issues, there will not be agenda. Some notices doesn't include agenda according to the nature. I presented an example. Thapathali Engineering College is going to conduct its internal examination or first assessment examination from this one within its premises. So all the students are requested to make preparation accordingly. Then there will not be agenda. Got it? Okay. So this is the important thing. What is the benefit of including agenda? When you include agenda for the discussion, then your participant will make preparation accordingly. Okay, they will think accordingly. They would present their views. Right? That is the benefit of including agenda. Any other please with queries?
No, sir.
Sir,
Yes, yes.
you were saying any much discussion. Does any much discussion, any and much come together?
What I was saying?
You were talking about any much discussion while talking about minute. At the time, there was one discussion. There was one proposal at the time. You said any much discussion. So, can we spell any and much together?
Any always comes with what's your question? Any must discussion?
Yeah, you were saying any much discussion. Is it correct?
Any always comes with countable. I just unknowingly probably I uttered the word. What we should say is
You
I don't think we need any discussion, right? Any and much
so you
doesn't come
so
together.
you
Yes.
have just spell the animus simultaneously. So does it make sense grammatically, sir?
Oh, okay. Since he was asking about that, yes, that
So
Yeah.
doesn't
you
make sense. But
combine
So
yeah,
you
combine that.
were writing the same in that minute module.
uh, okay. You just let me take you to that part. Probably you can read out the things here.
Okay, sir. There, confirmation on the minutes of previous meeting. There is written
Confirmation on the minutes of
3.01.
3.0. The minutes confirmation on the minutes of previous meeting. The minutes of the second regular meeting was approved without any
Much discussion.
much discussion. Yes, here is what happens is that without any much discussion. Yes, in this sense you can use because without any discussion is better, but it is taken as cliche without any much discussion. Yes, here is appropriate. This much discussion without any further discussion. You write it in this way.
So
Yes,
without
without
further,
any.
sir, we usually say that without further discussion or without any discussion, but I never
Yes,
hear
yes. So what you do
any
is
much
look,
discussion.
I told you when I type the things, I type, I have to prepare all the things, right? So sometimes
Yes,
what I
sir.
do is I make correction once again, I save it, then there is problem. Last time that same case occurred, I taught writing fifth meeting to some of the students, right? Fifth meeting to
Yes, sir.
students of BEI, and then I didn't. I edited that their fifth meeting. I edited this same notice, and what I just did it. Then I saved it. I taught them fifth meeting, and I saved it. For example, in this way, 5 point here also fifth. What I told them is, if you have to write minutes on the fifth meeting, then you go for 5.01, 5.02, 5.03. As it is the third meeting, write down 3.01, 3.02. But later on, I just saved it and it was totally incorrect because I teach the same thing to different sections. And what happens is that sometimes, corrections and multiple corrections are saved there, and there will be error. You become serious about these things all the time. Don't depend heavily on these things, right? Because I edit I save, I edit, I save, and once again, I don't go through the files. Okay, thank you. You were absolutely right there. Correct. Any other discussions, queries on these things?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, once again, I have done these things here, and that it will be saved, and totally it will be incorrect. Look, where is 5? I think 5. No, if that is third meeting, then 3.1, 3.2.
So, excuse me, sir.
Fine. Now let me save it. Okay.
Excuse me,
The
sir.
no space. Okay, go on.
So, are we supposed to make tables while writing the names
Yes,
in minute?
yes. This is also a good question. This is also a good question. Table is when writing minutes. Here, are you talking about this one? The decisions made,
No,
or
sir.
list of
The
present
members
members?
name while
List of,
writing the names of members.
yes. What you do is, yes, I already told you that as it is a technical writing, as it is a technical writing, you should think about the layout. I talked about that. If you make table, that is better. It looks good, right? So it looks good if you make table. Otherwise, you can write without a table too. Not compulsory, but to make your writing little bit attractive, what you can do is you can go for tabling. Otherwise, here is also different case. Uh, some of the student from the different section asked this question. So can we write these things first, only these agenda, then discussions, or not? Or somebody asked, can we put these things in a certain table, right? One side just agenda, another side decisions made. Yes, you can do that, but which one looks attractive? You decide that. Whether one side totally agenda and another side decisions made looks attractive, or this way looks attractive. You should decide, but you can choose any way you like. This is not hard and fast rule that you should follow this method only. No hard and fast rule.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, I can
Sir,
hear you. You go on.
in most of the meetings I found in those minutes that people usually sign at the end of the minute as well, and in the place where like you showed the name, post, and signature. There also they sign, and at last also they sign. In some of the minutes of meeting, I have seen that people have signed on each and every single paper where they have written the minute. So what is that, sir? Can you please elaborate it?
Yes. Yeah, why not? Why not? Very good question. That is also a good question. So there are different reasons for that. So let me clarify your question with this table. First, what you told you is they signed here as well, just after their name, at the end of their name. Fine, because this is to show their presence. One, this is to show their presence. They sign here. This is all. Next one is you talked about they sign at the end of the minutes here, right? You are talking about here, right? So why they sign is to confirm that they agreed on each and every decisions made, to show that they agreed on or they have complete agreement on each and every decisions made, conclusions drawn. They are requested or they are asked to sign at the end of the minutes as well, right? You can see sign of the members this side or at the end of the page. So they sign in each and every pages for the confidentiality. Means if you sign in each and every pages, then nobody will change that, right? So these are the security purpose as well as to show their agreement. They sign in 2-3 places, or they are requested to sign in 2-3 places.
Sir, and which is the best form of minuting then? Like in exam when we do, what would be the best one?
Yes. So what you should do is, that's why I'm talking about these things. In the exam, you need not to go for these each and every signatures here after the minutes, right? No each and every signature of the, just you go for sign here, present members, right? Otherwise, no need to go for that signature at the end of the minute. You follow this one. You follow this one. This is the best widely accepted model, right? So this is the widely accepted format. You write according to this. You write according to this. Just write down the body of your minute. Here minutes, under that write down these things. After that, present members, write down absentees. But one thing you should remember is uh, uh, less than present members should be absent members. Then the decisions made, write then in this way. Then after that, write down here secretary and chairperson, sign here. Don't write other things. Don't do more than this. But yes, when you are conducting meeting, at that moment, you should let people sign at the end of minutes as well, to show their complete agreement. When they sign at the end of the minutes, that means they are completely agree, or they are agree with the decisions made. They agree with the decisions made, whatever decision have been
Thank
made
you,
there.
sir.
Okay. Now other queries?
Sir, I think we don't have enough times today to restart new topic today, sir.
Yeah, so
Can we?
I'm letting you to go for some questions, right? So because it is not good. We have already, yeah, it's already 2:22. So no need to start another topic, because we even cannot pay attention when we go for two topics in a single class, right? One topic must be discussed in a clear way, that will be enough, and we can just complete our course on time without any problem, right? So yes, once again, I request you to go through. I will upload this file, right? So you just go through these notice, minutes, other research articles, but ignore such type of things, right? I don't have time to read these things once again. I did these things when I am teaching you, and in another class I talk about the fifth meeting. I make some correction to it once again. For example, the minutes of the second regular meeting was approved without discussion. Then I write, then further I add somewhere, then I delete, and you go through these things. You read these lines, some repeated somewhere. You will be going through these things, no problem, right? So if sometimes you find year 5, you delete that. Think that it's a third meeting, so third should be here. You delete that. Don't depend heavily on these things. And saving, wrong things are saved.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, here is everything. Okay, you go through it and you consider these type of things. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you so much. See you in a next class with. Uh, uh, I think in our next class we will be dealing with uh, writing research article. Yes, after this we have to deal with writing research articles.
Bye
Okay.
bye, sir.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you, sir.
Now let me stop
Thank you, sir.
recording.
Thank you, sir.
So that. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Stop recording. Fine.